Hi, everybody. This is Lisa Kessler from Kessler Insurance, and I'm here today on behalf of Cheers for Charity New Hampshire. And I am really excited that I have a special guest today with Patty from Seacoast Family Promise. So, welcome today, Patty, and thank you for coming to share with us about your organization. I'd love to hear more about what Seacoast Family Promise does.
Well, thanks for having me, and thanks for what you do, because certainly charities need more exposure. So thank you. Good job. Seacoast Family Promise serves local families with children under the age of 18 who are homeless. It's sort of the fastest growing segment in the nation of homelessness. However, it is very invisible. We don't usually see these families. And they are out there and they need our help and they need to get back on their feet. And that's what we do.
Awesome. So what do the programs look like? Like, how do you do that?
Well, we find that everybody comes with their own individual background, their own obstacles to becoming homeless. But a few of the things we have found are threads that seem to be universal, that people need to understand how to have a relationship with their money, regardless of how much money they're making, that it's important for you to understand your money and how to make it work for you, that you need to make appropriate decisions about your spending, and that you need to remember that it's always family first. And that seems to be an underlying thread with most people. We don't teach that really anymore. But some people come to us because they are leaving a domestic violence circumstance, or perhaps they've become homeless because of a divorce, catastrophic illness. We have had people who have lived through cancer and cancer treatment, but have not financially made it through. People come for a variety of reasons. Also, some people come because they've made bad financial choices and they need to just get back on their feet. Loss of employment. The loss of employment and the fact that rents continue to increase so significantly. And the fact that the minimum wage in New Hampshire is so low. We have a lot of minimum wage workers in the state of New Hampshire. And so we need to take a look at all of it. It's never just one thing. It's working on affordable housing. It's working on placing families where they can stay, where they can survive. And also we have a program that follows families called Home Again. It follows families after they leave shelter so that they continue to get the supports that they need. So when you relocate to another community, you have to find medical care, you have to find a dentist, you have to find a doctor, you have to have your children in school, you need all of those things. And so we don't just put people back on the street and say, here you go, but we stay with them forever. So we have had families who have been with us well, I've been the director for 16 years. So we have families who have stayed with us for 19 years. And 90% of our families have never returned to homelessness, which is statistically a really great statistic, even nationally.
Oh, that's amazing. What do you think makes your program so unique?
I think part of it is structure. And I think the other part of it is letting families know that they are worth the dignity that they are shown in our program. It is very degrading to people to say, I can't support my family, I've made my children homeless, when in essence they have not. They are not the reason, but they seem to take it on personally. And so I think it's treating people with dignity and respect and helping them look at their future. Adults need to take a look at their future. Who did you want to be? What did you want to do? What sort of education did you want? We have families, we have two mothers who just graduated this year with degrees in accounting. We have another mom who is going to be getting her degree in occupational therapy. Fabulous. She's worked really hard over the years for that. We have moms who have become massage therapists, who have become estheticians. We have moms and dads who have become school teachers. And the list goes on and on and on. And we've put a few workers in the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard as well, and in trade programs. And so that's what we need. You need to give people a hope and a vision for a good future. And I hope that's what we do better than anything else, is to allow people to have the dream and the success of a good life.
So if a family comes to you and they're in a homeless position currently, what are the first things you provide them? Do you actually help them find a shelter, a place to live? You don't actually have your own, correct?
We do. We do
Okay.
actually house the families.
Oh,
We have a
wow.
day center program where they come during the day, and then we have an overnight facility where the families stay. And so they do stay with us. And
Great.
we find that the average family stays anywhere from 3 to 6 months, depending upon how things are going. When you're living in a shelter circumstance, it's not easy, but we have to remember that it takes you about $3,000 to $4,000 to move out of shelter and to get into an apartment. So it's not something that happens right away. We also help people clear up their debt and take a look at what they have done in the past so that their credit is better. To answer your question, though, the immediacy of what families need is a safe place to be. And because we only do families and everybody is background checked, even our families, we no drugs, no alcohol, we are safe family shelter. And that's important for people. It's not an easy decision to come to shelter, for sure. And I think that shelters have gotten better over the years, but I think that people are afraid to come to the shelter circumstance. So to be able to provide them a safe place, their own individual family rooms, food, respect, we help them get clothing, we help people get glasses, we help kids have what they need to go to school and get their education, we get them into appropriate, school settings, and the list goes on. But I think those basic human needs are pretty much the first thing that we deal with.
So how do you get the clothing and the food and that kind of stuff? Is that donations? Do you take the funds that you generate through fundraising and buy the stuff? How does that all work?
Well, it's really a combination of all of those things. We work with about 1,700 community volunteers a year. We work with local businesses and organizations and schools, and we continue to search continually for, of course, for grants and for funding. And it comes from all of those places. We really find, and that one of my big things is that people are more than willing to give. And if you have a need and you ask and they trust that what they are donating to, whether it be financially or an item or whatever, that item or that money is going to be used and directed toward the programs that you say they're going to. And that's sort of how we've built over the years, one person at a time.
That's amazing. Now, how many families do you work with at any given one time?
We house 5 families or 14 individuals at one time, and that's the in-house process. We also work with about 20 families a month that are in the Home Again post program. And we also, at the holiday time, we adopt families out for Thanksgiving and for Christmas. And so during that time, we help as many as 70 plus families during that holiday time. So the door remains open for everybody all year round. So we have a food pantry. If somebody needs food, they can call us up, they can come and they can get food if they have a light month and they're needing help with food. If they need a gas card, so they can get back and forth to work, we have gas cards that we give them. We work with them with their electric bills and with their rent. And we also do a tenancy program because a very important piece of being a successful renter is for you to be a good tenant and to have a good landlord, for you to know your rights, for you to know the landlord's rights, and for you to make the right decisions. So it's a lot about education. It's a lot about life and life skills and parenting
That's great.
all of
Now,
that.
so do these families come from a certain geographic area? What's sort of the area that you serve?
We have had families from across the state because the need has grown so exponentially over the years, but our immediate catchment area is Rockingham and Strafford County, but that also includes very southern Maine and very, very northern Massachusetts because of the physical location of the Seacoast and the.
Okay. That's awesome. So if people want to learn more, Patty, if people want to, learn about your programs or potentially, contribute, whether it's time or items or cash or those kinds of things, what's the best way for them to learn more and to build that connection?
Well, they can visit our website, which is always a good place to start, seacoastfamilypromise.org. We have an active Facebook page, and they could like us on Facebook. And when you're on the web page, you could send an email. The email comes directly to me, and I would be happy to answer any questions that you have. And the phone number is there, and the address is there, and our physical day building is located in Exeter. And we'd be happy to answer any questions or give any information or take referrals, because people who might see this know folks who need our services. So.
Awesome. Oh, Patty, I am blown away by how much you do for how many people. And the need, as you said, has never been greater. So I am so grateful for the work that your organization does. Thank you for what you do. And thank you today for coming with and joining me in this conversation and sharing that information with the Cheers for Charity family. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you to Cheers for Charity. And I appreciate the opportunity.